The tennis community is stunned by Aryna Sabalenka's recent shocking revelation about Alex Eala. Here's the twist, though. The top player in the world doesn't hesitate to acknowledge reality. Sabalenka has been seeing the emergence of the Filipina sensations with increasing enthusiasm since the DC Open draw. She has now expressed her opinions about the 21-year-old, who has already defeated Olympic champions, reigning champions, and world number 10 athletes. What did the two-time U.S. defense do? Everyone is talking about what the US Open champion said. Aryna Sabalenka and Alex Eala have long admired one another. It has actually been building for some months. The top player in the world had already taken notice of Eala even before her incredible run in Washington. Eala was given a straightforward question back in March 2026, before to her Miami Open campaign. What shot would she steal from any player if she could? I would definitely take Sabalenka's serve, she replied without hesitation. It was a declaration that summed up Eala's goals. The world of Belarus is aware. One has one of the WTA Tour's most lethal serves. Sabalenka scored an 88 in 19 games in 2026. 3% is the second highest service game percentage on the tour. In addition, she ranks 6th in aces and 3rd in breakpoints saved. Beyond just her serve, Sabalenka is admired by Eala. Eala responded right away when former U.S. Open winner Andy Roddick asked her on his podcast which current player she would most like to face. Naturally, Sabalenka, she remarked. I believe that everyone aspires to be the world's top player. She disclosed that she nearly made it to the semifinals of the 2025 Miami Open. Alex, you're in the semifinals of a Masters of Miami, and you're fighting for a spot to play against the world's best player, my coach told me. You want to be here, then. Although that ambition is yet unrealized, it is now more feasible than ever. Eala is now formally listed for the United States' Open with Sabalenka. In an attempt to become the first female champion to win 3 consecutive U.S. Open titles since Serena Williams in 2012-14, the two-time defending champion is looking for a three-peat. The competition takes place at Flushing Meadows, New York, from August 30th to September 13th. However, Sabalenka is not the only one observing. Eala is already in the spotlight thanks to the Toronto WTA 1000 draw. The event website has highlighted a potential matchup with Linda Noskova, the new Wimbledon winner. This emphasis shows how rapidly Eala has become one of the most prominent figures in the women's sport over the previous 18 months, a rise that has been reinforced by her journey to the Wimbledon Final 16. Sabalenka has been keeping a close eye on Eala's ascent. The Belarusian has even officially expressed her support. Sabalenka remarked, "Those eyes egg," when American teenager Iva Jovic shared gorgeous pictures from her Italian Open campaign. Eala added, "Gorgeous girl on my feed," as well. Even as they are ready to possibly play each other on the court, the conversation showed that the two celebrities have a close friendship. What is everyone talking about that? Sabalenka said. The world is aware. Eala has been observing, but she hasn't yet faced one in a competitive match. Furthermore, it appears from her remarks regarding the Filipina phenomenon that she is fully aware of Eala's potential. The tennis community is waiting for these two to eventually face off as Eala continues her incredible run. Everyone is wondering the same thing. When will Sabalenka and Eala finally be on the same court? The tennis world has been following Eala's journey from Sabalenka's admiration to her historic breakthrough, which has been paved with one breathtaking triumph after another. Aryna Sabalenka and Alex Eala's admiration didn't begin in Washington. It began with Eala's quick ascent through the rankings, during which she defeated Grand Slam winners and reached the pinnacle of the sport. A few weeks prior to the DC Open, the pivotal moment occurred at Wimbledon. He also took the unimaginable step onto center court on July 4, 2026. With a decisive 769-62 victory, she overthrew the reigning champion and third-ranked player in the world, Iga Swiatek. The game served as a masterclass in poise and fortitude. In the first set, which lasted 84 minutes, Eala saved 2 set points and controlled the second, forcing Swiatek into 44 with just 21 unforced errors. During her on-court interview, Eala said, "I don't know how to describe it. I attended the second week of a slam, and I had an incredible experience. I'm incredibly appreciative to be able to share center court with Iga at Wimbledon despite the fact that she is a brilliant talent and a really kind person. Ayala became the first Filipino singles player in the Open era to advance to the fourth round of a Grand Slam with her victory. The entire tennis world, including the world number one, was enthralled by the occasion. Sabalenka had been keeping a careful eye on Ayala's ascent. The Belarusian star had already watched Ayala's breakthrough at the 2025 Miami Open, where the then 19-year-old wildcard astonished the tennis world by reaching the semifinals. She overcame Madison Keys, Iga Swiatek, and Yelena Ostapenko, 3 Grand Slam winners. She became the first Filipino to advance to a WTA 1000 semifinal, defeat 3 Grand Slam champions, and defeat 2 players in the top 5. Ayala gained respect despite losing. The American celebrity complimented Jessica Pegula following her Miami semifinal defeat. She is a very talented tennis player. She takes the ball early and goes for her shots. It's never easy being a lefty. She is a fierce competitor. Pegula knew she had been in a war, yet she still made it to the final to take against Sabalenka. At Wimbledon, the tennis community's admiration only increased. Tennis legend Billie Jean King took note when Ayala defeated Swiatek. "You have become the first Filipino ever to reach the 4th round of Wimbledon, and the whole country couldn't be prouder," President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said in his congratulations. Additionally, the Rafa Nadal Academy, where Ayala has been training since she was 13, wrote, "So proud of you, Alexandra Ayala. Continue to shine. The greatest is still to come. Let's go." Sabalenka has now entered the chorus. Ayala has not yet faced the top player in the world in a competitive match. However, she has been observing. Furthermore, it appears from her remarks regarding the Filipina phenomenon that she is fully aware of Ayala's potential. Ayala and Sabalenka, the 2-time defending champion, have been officially registered for the U.S. Open. The competition takes place at Flushing Meadows, New York, from August 30th to September 13th. Everyone is wondering the same thing. When will Sabalenka and Ayala finally be on the same court? The admiration is reciprocated for the time being. The world of tennis is also waiting. The tennis world is already looking ahead, even though Washington's hard courts are hardly cooling. Additionally, Alex Eala's incredible story appears to be about to begin with the National Bank Open in Toronto. The August 1, 2026 draw has put Eala squarely in the public eye. Additionally, the organizers of the competition are aware of exactly who the spectators want to watch. Ayala's possible matchup with recently crowned Wimbledon champion Linda Noskova was included as one of the most anticipated early-round matches on the official tournament website. The emphasis highlights Ayala's rapid ascent to prominence in the women's sport over the last 18 months, which has been reinforced by her journey to the Wimbledon Final 16. Ayala's journey in Toronto is difficult yet full with opportunities. Ayala has earned a first-round bye and a direct passage to the second round as the 28th seed in the world and the 25th seed in the tournament. In the round of 16, she can be rematched versus American Alicia Parks, who gave her a difficult Australian Open first-round loss earlier in the year. Although that 6-0-36-26 setback had been a hard lesson, Ayala has subsequently experienced exponential growth. A possible matchup with the next Wimbledon champion seems imminent beyond Parks. Ayala and Czech Republic's Linda Noskova, ranked 7th, are headed for a collision. They will face each other for the 3rd time on the WTA Tour if they both defeat their initial opponents. Ayala lost to the Czech netter at Indian Wells in March despite having Noskova's number in their junior years, 26-06, and in June 26-46 at the Berlin Open semifinals. For fans who want to watch Ayala face the best, this is where the story becomes intriguing. The WTA 1000 event in Toronto will be Sabalenka's first tournament since a sad Wimbledon exit, according to the tournament website. The Polish sensation Maja Kolinska, who profited from Sabalenka's spectacular fall at the French Open in June, may confront the world number 1 again. It is tantalizingly close that Ayala will play Sabalenka in Toronto. Ayala has never concealed her ambition to compete against the greatest in the world. When asked which contemporary player she would most like to meet, Sabalenka naturally responded former U.S. Open champion Andy Roddick. "I believe that everyone aspires to be the world's top player. Last year, I nearly had the opportunity. Before I played Jessica Pegula, my coach told me just that. Alex, you're in the semifinals of a Masters of Miami, and you're fighting for a spot to play against the nobody in the world," he said. "You want to be here, then. That opportunity never came to pass. However, in Toronto, it might. Canada's hard courts provide the ideal setting for the two celebrities to finally face off. Sabalenka, the two-time US Eala, has expressed her respect for Sabalenka's game beyond all others, and the US Open winner has been observing her ascent with admiration. Citation, 6-8. Eala had a quick response when asked which shot she would steal from a player back in March. Without a doubt, I would steal Sabalenka's serve. Fans are already excited about the prospect of an Eala-Sabalenka match in Toronto. August 2nd to 13th is when the Toronto WTA 1000 tournament takes place. Eala must first get through her first few matches. However, if she does, the match of the tournament might be her encounter with the top player in the world. If the top player in the world was standing across the internet from you, how would you respond? For Alex Eala, the solution is straightforward. She would never give up, and never stop demonstrating that the girl with the light-up shoes and ruffled socks could rule the world. The tennis world is ready, and history is about to be made. Alex Eala and Aryna Sabalenka's admiration is based on more than simply their shared passion for tennis. And the top player in the world has been genuinely interested in Eala's ascent. For months, the two celebrities' friendship has been subtly growing. Sabalenka and Eala couldn't hide their love when American teenager Eva Jovic shared gorgeous pictures from her Italian Open campaign in May 2026. "Gorgeous girl on my feed," Eala remarked. "Those eyes etchig," Sabalenka added. The cordial conversation showed a connection that goes beyond their sport's competitive nature. However, the admiration goes far beyond praise on social media. Eala's adoration for Sabalenka's game has never been a secret. She gave an instant response when asked which contemporary player she would most like to meet by former US Open champion Andy Roddick. Naturally, Sabalenka. She disclosed that she nearly had the opportunity at the Miami Open in 2025. "Despite being in the semi-finals of the Masters of Miami, my coach warned me, 'Alex, you're fighting for a spot to play against the nobody in the world.' So, she remembered, this is where you want to be." Although that ambition is yet unrealized, it is now more feasible than ever. Alongside Sabalenka, who is hoping to become the first woman to win 3 consecutive US Open championships since Serena Williams from 2012 to 14, Eala is officially listed for the US Open. The competition takes place at Flushing Meadows, New York, from August 30th to September 13th. Eala has taken center stage following the Toronto WTA 1000 draw. Eala's possible matchup with Linda Noskova, the recent Wimbledon champion, was featured on the official tournament website. This emphasis highlights Eala's rapid ascent to prominence in the women's sport over the last 18 months, which has been bolstered by her run to the Wimbledon Final 16. Sabalenka has been keeping a close eye on Eala's ascent. Although Eala has not yet faced the world number one in a competitive match, she has been observing. And her remarks regarding the Filipina phenomenon imply that she is fully aware of Eala's potential. The tennis world is waiting for the moment when the two stars will finally face off as they get ready for the North American Hard Court Tour. If the top player in the world was observing everything you did, how would you respond? For Alex Eala, the answer is straightforward. She would continue to persevere, maintain her faith, and demonstrate that she is one of the greatest. The top person in the world is observing. Alex Eala's future appears more promising than ever, and the tennis community is paying attention. The most recent indication that Eala has reached the largest stage is Aryna Sabalenka's astounding disclosure regarding the Filipina phenomenon. But what does Eala's career genuinely stand to gain from this acknowledgement from the greatest player in the world? First of all, it validates what a lot of people have been saying for months. Eala is now more than just a gifted young woman. She poses a real threat. On the Nothing Major podcast, former top Americans Sam Querrey, John Isner, and Steve Johnson discussed Eala's extraordinary popularity. Querrey presented the argument in an easy-to-understand manner. Is she currently the most attractive player in women's tennis? Around the world? Is she larger than Sabalenka? Is she larger than Coco? Johnson said, "Yeah, dude, it's crazy," right away. The court was a standing room only, just like in Australia. Then Dubai, only standing space. It's enormous and crazy. The figures support that assertion. About 171,000 people watched Eala's pre-tournament news conference online during the Australian Open, far more than the approximately 29,000 who saw Carlos Alcaraz or Coco Gauff and the 9,000 who watched Aryna Sabalenka. Her standing as a cultural icon has already been strengthened by her appearance on the cover of Vogue Philippines. Query even said, "It would be like one of the biggest things in the world if she wins a slam." Even if the biggest names in the world are paying attention, Eala stays grounded. Eala was quick to respond when asked if she is in a league of her own. "I wouldn't say so," she continued. "The leagues of the greats Djokovic, Sabalenka, and Alcaraz are far away from mine. They have my utmost regard. I believe that everyone does." She does, however, accept the influence she is making. She stated, "I like to think that the impact I've had and the platform I've built has a positive effect on a certain demographic and my demographic. The path ahead is obvious." Eala is scheduled to compete against Wimbledon champion Linda Noskova at the National Bank Open in Toronto. The Cincinnati Open follows. Lastly, she is officially paired with Sabalenka, the two-time reigning champion who is hoping for a three-peat at the USS Open. If the top player in the world was observing everything you did, how would you respond? For Alex Eala, the solution is straightforward. She would never give up, and never stop demonstrating that the girl with the light-up shoes and ruffled socks could rule the world. The world of tennis has been alerted. Even the greatest people in the world are taking notice of Eala mania, which is here to stay.